Hi everyone, this is National Master Alessandro Santagati and welcome to the third video about the series of the Dutch defense and the Hopton attack. And in the first two videos we focused attention about the idea rook h7, rook f7 for black. In this video we see what to do after knight f6. The idea is easy. Take the square h5 because okay, if I move queen h5 I will lose the queen and that's not a good idea for me. And after knight f6 the white will do e5. The e5 is good because I can simply attack the knight. And what to do if knight e5? Easy, mate again. So it's impossible for black. Move the knight, maybe it's possible, maybe the only move is knight g4, but h3 and then I can take it and let's move the knight, so it's not so good for black playing this way. So after e5, the only move I think for black is play e6. Because if it's impossible, move the knight is important for black. Free the queen, because if pawn takes, the black can take with the queen. And the queen on e6 can be good. So e6 is a very important move for black. After that, white will do bishop g3. The idea about this move is that after bishop g2 the black will be forced to play f4, because at this time the knight is under attack, and if black will move the knight now, I can simply play queen h5. So it's important for black, okay, give the knight, but take the bishop on g3. And after this move, after f4, now this diagonal is free and I can bring my bishop. Move the knight is bad because again I can play queen h5, and after king e7 I can simply play knight c3. And the idea about that is that after knight c3 and after that this knight is away, the square f6 is free, and maybe I can simply take the knight if I want, but I can also play bishop takes f4 with the idea that if the knight go back, I play bishop takes g5, and on the other hand, the rook is lost, and the white is nice because okay, maybe it's possible queen e8, but after h4 I can bring other pieces in the game, so the black is forced to play g4 to block the position, and my pawn can go forward and it will be very hard to stop this pawn. The king is in a bad position and the other pieces are out of the game, so it will be impossible I think for black to defend this position, and the white is very strong. So this position is very nice and is impossible for black to move the knight because there are a lot of problems. And bishop g7 so is better, and now we play, it's possible e takes f6, but after queen takes f6 I think black is fine. I don't like it because yes, it's possible queen h5, but king d8, and the king is safe now because in theory you can also go in the other side, and for this reason I don't like it. I don't like taking immediately e takes f6. I prefer play bishop g6, because in this case now there are two squares for the king. Maybe the king can go to e7 or can go to f8. If e7 now I can take, and it would be impossible to take the pawn with the queen, and it's fine for white. So probably black has to play king f8, and after king f8 we can go forward with the queen f3. I add more pressure against the f file, and if f takes, I take with the pawn f, I open the f file, and I can play in the future to attack this king, because when I want I can retake the knight easily. And if king g8, I don't need to take the knight immediately, because if the black will move the knight, I can simply mate on f7, so no problem. So yeah, I can simply play knight d2, I can double the pieces, and if queen e7, now I can also play castle, and if knight e5, I can simply play bishop f7, king h7, and queen d3, checkmate. So there are a lot of problems for black. the knight is always blocked to f6, and yeah, I can take a very nice position after that. So it's fine. Queen f3 is a very strong move, and maybe we must see what happens if 95. If 95 again, knight c3 is fine, because if knight takes, I take on f4, and the sacrifice is very interesting, because if g takes f4, I can play queen takes, and if king g8, easy, there is checkmate on f7. If bishop f7, if bishop f6, that is forced now, I can simply take the knight, and then I will take the bishop, and it's an easy position for white, because the white will be up a pawn for sure, and the black has a bad position for his king, so white has a good advantage now. Well, so this move is interesting. So knight c3 can be an idea after 95. So probably 95 is wrong, and another option can be knight c6, I think. In this case, I can simply sacrifice my bishop on f4, g takes, and then queen f4, because the knight is still pinned. So if made a mistake with my board, so okay, bishop g6 as said, king f8, and now queen f3. Yeah, if I say knight c6, bishop takes, and knight takes d4, not a big problem for me. I can simply play queen d3, and now I can still take the knight if the black will take my bishop. And the main point about this opening is that at the end, the white has a good position without sacrifice. So this opening, I think, is very good for white. Okay, so we can go back to review that and to follow my tip. So my idea is that e5, black has to play e6, and now we can play bishop g3. After f4, we play bishop d3, and we ignore at this time the knight on f6. Before I said bishop g7, maybe it's also playable bishop rook g8, but I can simply play also knight h3, for example. I can develop my pieces with the idea that after f takes, I can simply take with the pawn. And again, when the knight will move, when black will move the knight, I can play queen h5, and the white is fine. Because after king e7, I can play bishop h7, and the rook is without squares. If rook h8, there is simply castle, and my simple idea is making one move on f7. Queen 8 doesn't work because there is bishop g6, and the queen is lost for sure. We can say the game is lost for sure, so yeah. If rook g7, I can play queen takes h6, and this move is very strong because I can take the square f6, and then I can attack the knight, for example, with the knight or with the pawn. And if rook f7, I win easily with this move, king e8 and bishop g6, because after that trade, I will take the rook on f7, and the white is winning. So this opening is very nice, very hard for black to play this position, and for white it's very important to understand that we can bring this knight to f6, because when the black will move the knight, I will take a very good position. So I think after bishop g6, king f8, queen f3, the white position is fine, and I think it can be enough to understand the position. The strategical topics are the knight to f6, the sacrifice on f4, and this knight that can go or to e2 or to h3, because usually it's very important for this knight take the square f4, because on f4 can help the attack and the castle king side to bring a rook in the f file. For this video is all. Thank you for the attention. See you for the next about the Dutch defense series. Thank you for the attention. Bye. Remember to follow me on social networks and share the video with your friends. Thanks.